She was a spoiled noble girl. But of all people, she picked a fight with the transmigrator. The first time they met, she soaked him from head to toe. So yeah, he slapped her right across the face. And that night, he came back with a whole bucket of water and dumped it over her while she was sleeping. In the slums of Elbest, everyone there just called him Old Man Braggart. After all, he could only use 1-star magic. Yet he loved running his mouth and kept claiming he was some great mage. His personality was terrible too. He was the kind of old man who would seriously lose his temper over a child's prank. And Derek learned magic from that very old man. There was no grand reason behind it. The old man simply needed a follower. It did not take long before Derek could sense the flow of mana. The old man could not believe this kid had already reached that level. Derek stayed by the old man's side, serving him day after day. And within a single year, he became a 1-star mage. Sometimes, the old man would talk about the nobles of Elbest. He said some of them reached 3-star rank before they even came of age. Someone with lowly blood like Derek could work his whole life and still never touch that realm. He would always say, "So don't get too full of yourself. With talent like yours, 2-star is probably your limit." The old man loved preaching about bloodlines, drilling it into Derek again and again that magic depended on birth. And no matter how hard a commoner struggled, they could never cross the wall between nobles and peasants. Maybe he was really despairing over the thing he himself had never managed to overcome. That night felt especially long, but the next day, when Derek returned to their place, the old man was already dead. He had been beaten so badly that his whole body was covered in wounds. At the time, Derek thought the old man must have gotten into trouble with someone outside and been beaten for it. Only much later did Derek learn the truth. The old man had been surrounded and beaten by the guards because he had been caught stealing a 2-star magic book from a warehouse. Why an old man with no ambition left would do something like that, no one ever knew. System notification. Magic fundamentals acquired. Please select your primary school of magic. This choice cannot be changed. Old Man Braggart always loved talking about bloodlines. Too bad Derek had no noble blood at all, and yet he still grasped the fundamentals of magic. The system prompted him again. Please select your primary school of magic. This choice cannot be changed, because Derek was never from this world in the first place. Just like that, 4 years passed. Cadia Flameheart was the former head of the fallen Flameheart family. Born a noble, she was also a 3-star mage. Because of that, plenty of mercenary groups tried to recruit Cadia. But, for now, she was lying low in Elbest and working for the Beldrim mercenary group. Cadia also gave guidance to Derek, a boy who had joined a mercenary group at a young age and could already use 1-star magic. Derek learned a lot from this 3-star mage. Derek was now stationed with the Beldrim mercenary group. For a mage, wanting to climb higher is perfectly normal, Cadia told him. And you definitely have the talent for it, but too much ambition will only get in the way of what you can eventually achieve. Derek nodded seriously. I'll keep that in mind, Cadia continued. Now close your eyes and feel the mana. Focus on where the mana appears from and how it flows. Then, imagine that the mana is taking shape through your own will. Cadia quickly realized that the boy in front of her had an enormous amount of mana inside him. Maybe it was because he had plenty of real combat experience, but his control over mana was also incredibly steady. The way his mana flowed was far too stable for a young 1-star mage. But just then, a loud boom suddenly rang out. Someone outside immediately shouted, "What was that? What happened? Are we under attack? Get out there and check." Cadia immediately warned Derek, "Don't say a word, just follow me." When the mercenaries arrived, they found nothing. "What's going on? We definitely heard an explosion. Search carefully. Something's off." Another voice chimed in. "Yeah, there was definitely an explosion." Cadia lowered her voice and said, "Derek, listen carefully. You already know nobles are extremely sensitive about their privileges, and magic is their greatest privilege. Powerful magic may be treated as a blessing, but only among nobles. Commoners do occasionally produce 3-star mages, but those are usually people who spend their entire lives studying magic before they ever reach that level. What you just used was a 2-star confusion spell called Phantom Hearing, and just like that, Derek became a 2-star mage at the age of 14. System notification. 2-star magic nearly reached. 2-star spell, Phantom Hearing acquired. From then on, Cadia took Derek from place to place, teaching him all kinds of magic. Every now and then, she would also tell him about the noble social circles she had once been part of. And just like that, 1 year later, Cadia left. The eldest Count family had hired Cadia as a private tutor. The Elbest Count family was not some minor house. Even Grand Dukes from the capital could not easily offend them, because the eldest border count stood behind that family. From Kadia's point of view, this was an offer she simply could not refuse. Becoming a magic teacher for nobles of that level was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for anyone. Before leaving, Kadia gave Derek a 2-star magic book. After that, Derek learned quite a few new spells. Another year passed, and Derek taught himself 2 more 2-star spells. He was only 16 now, and he had no intention of stopping there. At the Beldrin mercenary group's base. So, what do you think, Derek? We finally got a decent commission. This request came from the Grand Duke Duprain family. Do you understand what that means? Duprain? Derek asked. You mean that Duprain family? Why would a house like that send a commission to us? Kid, is that really what matters right now? This is Duprain we're talking about. The Duprain family throws money around like it's nothing. If we build a connection with the Duprain family through this job, more chances will come later. Derek asked, so what exactly do they want me to do? Nothing major. They just want us to hunt down a few monsters near the edge of the Grand Duke's territory. That's it? Derek asked. When nobles say it that way, do you think there's another version of the story? The captain replied. Derek could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. Would a family like Duprain really hire a small mercenary group just to deal with monsters? I'm not going. Send someone else. Derek had no intention of following his orders and told him to find another person. You know I don't take jobs with hidden trouble attached. Why don't you just go yourself? Because we need a mage. Don't you know the mercenary group has been short on mages lately? I only came to you because you're the only one who can go. Seriously? You need a mage just to catch a few monsters? I don't want to get dragged into some weird power struggle. 1 Adel gold coin. And that's not even the commission fee. That's just the deposit. Derek, say hello. These people are your clients. The client's butler frowned. No, he's not even an adult. I heard he had done something impressive on the Spirit Dust battlefield, so I had some expectations. But you handed the job to a child? The mercenary captain quickly explained. That's not the case, dispatch officer. He really is someone capable. He's the strongest mage we have here. But the butler still felt this was not a task that could be entrusted to a child. Just then, the woman beside him pulled the butler aside, whispered a few words, then glanced at the girl next to her. After that, she looked at Derek. Your name is Derek, right? Come, let's talk. In Grand Duke Duprain's territory, Derek had already started dealing with the goblins. Taking care of these goblins was almost too easy for him. It did not take long before he finished the entire job. Dispatch officer, it's done. None of them expected him to catch so many of them so quickly. The hooded girl showed a strange look on her face. That night, at the Beldrin mercenary group's base. So you've become the noble's lapdog now, Derek Perrin? Get down first. What are you doing? We have guests here. Even if we commoners have nothing, we still shouldn't become lapdogs for the nobles. Did Derek tell you how much this job is worth? How much did they pay to make him kiss a noble's boots? The boss held up one finger. What? 1 silver coin? Of course it was 1 gold coin. Perina immediately said, please, let me be the one kissing their boots for that kind of money. Will you keep it down? I already told you, that wasn't the kind of commission where he had to kiss up to anyone. So how did the commission go? Honestly, there wasn't much to it. I just killed a few goblins, and that was the end of it. Their first impression wasn't great, but they definitely looked rich, right? Still, all 3 of them lied. Really? I heard noble house dispatch officers only care about 3 things: youth, stamina, and social skills. And not one of those 3 matched that. That maid called Scarlari was suspicious too. Her hands were way too clean. Those were not the hands of someone who does hard labor. And that trainee inspector was suspicious as well. Derek, we're mercenaries. We don't need to dig into every little detail about our clients. We take orders, do the job, and get paid. Jaden was right. This was the wilderness. Out here, the only things that mattered were eating and staying alive. Everything else was noise. The next day, in Grand Duke Duprain's territory, everything has been cleaned up. The goblins shouldn't appear again for a while. After that, Jaden asked how the remaining payment would be handled. Derek, look at this. 2 gold coins. Seeing that much gold, Derek just wished Jaden would let go of his hand first. At that moment, the old butler spoke up. Derek, I have high hopes for your abilities. May I offer you a new commission? That immediately caught both Derek and Jaden's attention. For this commission, the Grand Duke will pay you 15 Edel gold coins. Jaden's eyes went wide. 15? Are you taking it? Derek answered without hesitation. Of course I am. After that, Derek and the others arrived at Grand Duke Duprain's territory, the Duprain estate. So this is the Grand Duke Duprain's house. That's impressive. Before we go inside, please allow us to formally introduce ourselves. Jaden waved it off, saying, "It's not like we just met yesterday. You can be casual with us. I am the head butler of the Grand Duke Duprain's estate. My name is Daron. I apologize for hiding my true position." That answer made Jaden break out in a cold sweat. "I am the head maid of the Grand Duke's estate, Katerina." Wow, you high-ranking people really. Only then did Jaden realize they had never been a mere dispatch officer and a regular maid. They were the head butler and the head maid. Derek had suspected as much, but their positions were even higher than he had expected. Then who was this girl? The girl stepped down from the carriage and removed her hood. "I am Aiseline Eleanor Duprain. I would like to hire Mr. Derek as a magic teacher for my younger sister Dilra." She was the eldest daughter of the Duprain family, Aiseline Eleanor Duprain. And Derek was about to become the magic teacher of a noble young lady. Grand Duke Duprain's territory. The Duprain estate. A young man stormed noisily into the room. "Father, Brother Valerian, look at this." "Reg, what are you doing? A noble must maintain grace in every action." "I'm not the one who needs to watch my manners. Dilra is. She's even started putting her hands on the servants now." The man beside Reg warned him to lower his voice. "Father is still in a meeting. 10 servants resigned last month alone. She smashes furniture whenever she feels like it. How much longer are we going to let that spoiled brat do whatever she wants? Reg, that's enough. Get out." "Even if Dilra is a spoiled brat, we still have Aiselim, don't we? Maybe we should just stop caring about Dilra," Reg continued. "That is not for you to decide," his father replied. "But I've already asked the butler to look into a convent," Reg argued coldly. "The facilities there are excellent, and many noble children come and go from that place. Instead of letting Dilra remain a burden, wouldn't it be better to let her follow the will of God? But if we keep leaving her like this, she'll become a future threat to the family. So why don't we?" Before he could finish, the family head grabbed him by the head. Then he slammed his face hard into the table. "I already told you that is not for you to decide." Even then, Reg still believed that some matters had to be cut off before it was too late. And just like that, the argument reached a deadlock. Meanwhile, on the other side, Aislinn asked, "Had you heard anything about my younger sister, Dilra?" Derek answered, "I've only seen her name on the Duprain family tree." In other words, Dilra did not seem to be very well known to the outside world. But the moment Derek pushed open the door, he realized something was off. The two people who had just been arguing were walking out. "Aislinn, it's been a while. How have you been in Elbest?" "Thanks to your concern, brother, I've been doing well there." "I see." Reg seemed a little hurt. "Then we can catch up later." Derek quietly glanced over them. He immediately noticed the subtle changes in their expressions. The maid beside them also covered her face. Clearly, something had happened between them just now. The family head said, "As long as you are doing well in Elbest, that's enough." Aiselin replied, "That is all thanks to Father's care. This is the magic teacher I brought back from Elbest. He will be responsible for teaching Dilra." "You must be busy, Father, so we'll take our leave first." Just then, the family head stopped Derek. "Wait, you stay. You look very young. What level of magic can you use?" Derek answered, "I can use a little one-star magic." "Don't lie. Humility is not always counted as a virtue." Derek's heart tightened. Grand Duke Duprain really was no ordinary man. In front of a 5-star mage, humility was useless. "If I was rude, I apologize." "It's fine. I also understand why you answered that way. But whether I look at your age or your clothes, you don't seem like someone suited to be a magic teacher." Derek answered calmly, "I'm a mercenary. Since you're the teacher Aiselim chose, I won't say much more. I'll allow you to enter and leave the villa where Dilra lives. I'll also assign a maid to guide you. You may leave now," the Grand Duke said. "You can test me again if you wish," Derek replied. The Grand Duke looked at him. "Then speak," Derek said. "Your Grace, I am a mercenary. Once I accept a commission, I must complete it. Lady Aislin's commission is for me to teach Lady Dilra magic and help her become someone who can enter noble society." "Why are you stating the obvious?" "Because there is one thing I must request from your Grace." Meanwhile, on the other side, a plate suddenly came flying out. The maid quickly bowed her head and apologized. "I'm sorry. What good is an apology from someone like you? Get out of here right now." After that, the family head met with Aislinn in private. He asked her why she had chosen Derek, of all people. With the Duprain name, magic teachers would be lining up at their door, and having a commoner serve as a noble's magic teacher was never going to be easy. Aiselin answered that they had already searched for nearly every famous magic teacher on the continent, and every one of them had given up in the end. At this point, they were grasping at straws, trying anyone who could use magic. Mr. Derek may be a mercenary, but he seems to understand noble manners and culture to some extent. I heard his teacher was once a fallen noble, so he probably learned a few things from that person. The family head nodded thoughtfully. I see. He may be a mercenary, but he does carry himself well, and he seems kind enough. So you think Mr. Derek might be able to guide Dilra properly? But, Aisline, you still need to study people more carefully. That Derek fellow is a street-raised mage. He was already working as a mercenary before he even fully understood the world. Do you really think someone from the streets survived this long because of grace and kindness? At that moment, the butler had already brought Derek to a certain villa. After he knocked, there was no response from inside. So Derek pushed the door open and stepped in. Hello, I'm Derek. Pardon the intrusion. The girl told him to come closer. She was the second daughter of the Duprain family, Dilra Katerina Duprain. Derek slowly walked toward her. The next second, a basin of water was dumped all over him. Dilra acted surprised. Oh dear, what a mess. I thought a rat had scurried in. Isn't this the mercenary the butler mentioned? Now that I look closer, he really does look like a rat. So, how do you like it? I prepared it especially for you. Then Dilra picked up a bucket and poured all the water inside, straight over Derek's head. Does it remind you of home? The smell of the sewers really suits you. What a waste though. All that water spilled for nothing. Derek simply stared at her in silence. That seemed to irritate Dilra even more. Don't look at me with those rude eyes. Then she kicked Derek to the floor. Dilra stood over him with her hands on her hips, glaring down at him. After that, she took off the very shoe she had just used to kick him. She even muttered in disgust, "It stinks." Then she threw the shoe onto Derek. Once she was done, Dilra casually sat down on the table. Rat, don't get ahead of yourself. You think someone like you can teach anyone? Did no one in the gutters ever teach you common sense? At that moment, Derek recalled the conversation he had with the Grand Duke not long ago. The fact that I'm able to sit here means Lady Dilra's problem is not easy to solve. So I would like to ask your grace, who loves Lady Dilra so dearly, one question. While I am teaching Lady Dilra, how much authority will you give me? And because of that answer, this moment happened. Derek raised his hand and slapped Dilra straight across the face. The slap left her completely stunned. When dealing with a spoiled noble lady like this, mercy would not work. The carrot and the stick was the only way to truly tame her. One day, 3 years ago, Derek once asked his teacher, Katia, what would you do if you met a student who was arrogant and completely ungrateful? Katia answered, I would try to understand and tolerate her. But Derek felt that sounded a little too idealistic. What if even that did not work? The essence of teaching is guiding a student toward a better path. Derek, if understanding and tolerance cannot open communication, then you have to use another method. You plant fear. And that was why this slap happened. Derek warned Dilra, treat others with care and respect. I will not say it twice. Now stand up. The moment Dilra got to her feet, she slapped him right back. Who do you think you are? Derek raised his hand and slapped her again. I will not repeat myself. Treat others with care and respect. Dilra screamed. What is the butler doing? Someone here dares to hit the young lady. Hearing the commotion, the butler rushed over. My lady, are you all right? What are you doing? How dare you lay a hand on Lady Dilra? If the Grand Duke finds out, Derek directly took out the document in his hand. Grand Duke Duprain has entrusted all authority over Lady Dilra's education to me. Whatever method I use, it has the Grand Duke's permission. For a moment, even the butler had no way to respond. Seeing this, Dilra clearly lost some of her nerve. Meanwhile, on the other side, brother, calm down. Don't do this yet. A blonde man named Valerian stormed in, burning with anger. You're the mercenary? You dared to lay a hand on Dilra? As he spoke, he rushed toward Derek. Reg kept holding him back, telling him to let go first and talk after that. Derek told him directly. This was permitted by his grace. Reg also tried to calm him down. He's a guest Aisline brought back. If you act like this, what is Aisline supposed to do? And father already gave his permission. Valerian turned and said coldly, you, come with me. And Reg, stop getting in the way. Go do what you're supposed to do. I heard about it too. Dilra does need to be taught a lesson before she learns. Don't worry, my brother won't hurt you. But that girl has no hope anyway. What is there left to correct? Derek followed Valerian to a certain room. This was the room Dilra had used when she still lived in the main estate. Now it had simply been left untouched. Dilra used to love drawing. Every time, she would blush and pull Valerian over to look at her drawings. Back then, she had been incredibly adorable, but her drawings were almost never finished. Most of them were abandoned once she finished the parts she liked. Valerian said quietly, I'm sorry, I was too worked up earlier. I didn't take it to heart, Derek replied. You don't need to worry. But why did you bring me to this room? I wanted you to understand Dilra a little. She shouldn't have been that kind of bad child. But at some point, she became strangely obsessed with bloodlines. In the end, she was driven out of the main estate and confined to the villa. We have no idea what turned her into this. But at the very least, we cannot let Dilra be sent to a convent. If she can learn just one-star spell, we may still be able to persuade father. So please, I'm begging you, save Dilra. Derek could tell that Dilra had not completely given up on magic. The books in this room were filled with notes, and every single one of them was a theory book from the School of Order. That's right, most nobles study the School of Order, Valerian confirmed. Then I'm willing to try, Derek replied. That night, Dilra was still asleep. The next second, an entire bucket of water was dumped over her, shocking her awake from the cold. Derek stood beside her and asked coldly, "Can you still sleep now?" Dilra stared at him in fear, wondering if this man was insane. "Come with me, right now. There's somewhere we need to go." With that, Derek ignored her complaints and dragged her out. Dilra ordered the servants to stop him, but not a single one dared to obey her. Derek dragged Dilra all the way out to the outskirts. Then he threw her onto the ground. Dilra gritted her teeth and said, "You think this will change anything?" "Keep dreaming," Derek calmly said. "There's no one around now. Want me to tell you an interesting truth? Honestly, I don't actually want to teach Lady Dilra magic. I just enjoy beating arrogant nobles like you." That one sentence terrified Dilra on the spot. Besides, why would low-born commoners like nobles in the first place? Teacher is just a pretty title. I only needed an excuse to beat a smug noble like you, the kind who looks down on everyone. Do you know how beautiful the screams of you highborn people sound? Dilra trembled as she demanded, "You think you can do something like this and get away with it?" Derek said flatly, "Of course I'll be fine. You're about to be thrown into a convent anyway. And even if something does go wrong, I can just pay with my life. A commoner's life is only worth that much, isn't it? Or I could just run away. After all, I helped the Duprain family get rid of a problem. They'll probably forget about me soon enough." Dilra was so frightened that she turned and ran. She knew that if he caught her, she was done for. If she did not cross the grassland and make it back to the estate, he would catch her immediately. She had to shake Derek off in the woods. Dilra believed she knew this forest well enough. As long as she entered the woods first, that escaped back to the estate and told everyone what happened, that man would be the one finished. But Derek immediately charged up a fire spell. Dilra recognized it at once. It was 2-star magic. How can someone like him be 2-star? She ducked sharply, barely avoiding the fire spell. Even though it missed her, it still scared her pale. Derek said from behind her, "Oops, missed." Dilra panicked and started running again. Derek chased her from behind with magic. But he never actually hurt her. "You're pretty quick. You don't move like someone who spends all day locked up in a villa. How long are you gonna keep running?" Dilra began to wonder if she could really escape. At this rate, she would definitely be caught. Following her footprints, Derek chased her deep into the woods. This was the very forest Derek had seen in her painting. It seemed Dilra must have played here often when she was young. Somewhere in nature, she had unknowingly sensed the presence of mana, and that was why she had painted that feeling onto the canvas. Just then, Dilra grabbed a stone and charged straight at Derek. Derek simply drew his sword and cut the stone apart. "That courage of yours deserves praise. You knew it would be hard to shake off pursuit, so you chose to attack instead. That is not an easy decision to make. You don't have the strength to run anymore, do you?" Dilra gritted her teeth. "You think I'm going to apologize? If you're going to do it, then do it. I won't bow and scrape like those commoners." Derek asked, "Why are you so obsessed with bloodline?" Dilra shouted back in despair, "What else do I have? Other than this so-called noble bloodline, what else is left for me? Do you think I never tried? No matter how desperately I tried, it still wasn't enough. What was I supposed to do? Magic, painting, everything. I was rejected in all of it. I was worse than everyone else. If I don't even have my bloodline left, then what am I supposed to be?" Derek said calmly, "I understand your last words now. Then go in peace." With that, Derek swung his sword down at Dilra, but the blade never reached her because sharp spikes of ice suddenly formed around her. Dilra recognized it too. This was magic. Derek lowered his sword. "Well done, my lady. I hope you can forgive my rudeness. This cannot yet be called true magic. It was only the activation of mana. But you did very well." Hearing that, Dilra finally broke down and burst into tears. After she calmed down, Derek told her, "It seems you belong to the School of the Wild." Dilra asked in confusion, "I heard most nobles study the School of Order. Derek explained, all schools are essentially the same. The difference lies in how one understands and learns magic. Lady Dilra, you belong to the School of the Wild. That is why using theories from the School of Order to learn magic caused problems for you. It was not like wearing clothes that did not fit. It was like forcing yourself into clothes you could never fit into at all. Dilra asked how he knew she belonged to the School of the Wild. Derek answered, I saw your paintings, my lady. You sensed mana in nature and expressed it on the canvas. Most mages with talent for the School of the Wild sense mana in nature during childhood. Now, we should be able to leave. After her wounds were bandaged, Dilra murmured, this much doesn't feel too bad. Derek reminded her, you have successfully awakened your mana, but you still have a long road ahead. Starting tomorrow, I will teach you how to activate mana naturally. Dilra blushed and said, Derek, thank you. Derek simply turned away and said, let's go. Was that sunset painting one of your proudest works? Derek asked. I put down the brush a long time ago, Dilra replied. That was one of my old favorites, and you're the first person who realized it was actually a finished piece. The next morning, Dilra tried to use magic, but it did not go very smoothly. When she pushed the door open and stepped out, she accidentally startled a maid, and the water in the bucket splashed all over her. The maid quickly fell to her knees and apologized. I have committed a grave offense. Please spare me this once, my lady. Dilra gave her a cold glance, but only said, be more careful next time. The maid froze on the spot, completely unable to understand what had just happened. Lady Dilra had not hit her. She had simply walked away. The others quickly gathered around and asked if she had been beaten. It seemed something really had happened after Lady Dilra went out last night. At that moment, Derek was still asleep. Soon, someone started calling from outside his door. Derek, Derek. Derek woke up and asked, what is it? The butler quickly reminded her, my lady, please observe proper etiquette. This will put people in a difficult position. Dilra urged him, hurry up and teach me how to control the mana I awakened. I tried it once earlier, and I couldn't do it. The butler stared in disbelief. My lady, you awakened mana? But Dilra only looked at Derek and demanded, didn't you say you'd teach me today? Derek shut the door right in her face. Come back this afternoon. Dilra shouted in anger. Who do you think you are, ordering me around like that? Derek simply went back to bed and lay down again, as if he had not heard her yelling at all. Before long, the servants began whispering. Did you hear? Lady Dilra didn't break a single plate today. Someone accidentally splashed water on her dress this morning, and they still didn't get hit. Another servant chimed in. And I heard Lady Dilra awakened mana. Rag also heard about it. Soon, the news reached the head of the family. Is this true? He asked. What did you just say? Dilra awakened mana? The family head could not help praising it. That's wonderful. He had already confirmed it several times with the butler and the servants. Reg said, she only awakened mana. Father, you shouldn't jump to conclusions so quickly. Valerian immediately scolded him. Your sister awakened mana. Even if you don't praise her, why would you say something like that? Reg shot back. Have you all forgotten what she's done all this time? Canceling the plan to send her to a convent over this tiny bit of progress is way too soon. Meanwhile, Dilra was crouched on the bed. Derek looked at her. Are you sulking, my lady? Dilra immediately snapped back. I'm not sulking. I'm angry. Derek calmly said, even if you're angry, that won't change anything. I told you, I'm not sulking. I'm angry, she repeated. Even if you are sulking, it won't help. Derek replied, everything has to be done in the proper order. Dilra emphasized again, I am not sulking. I am angry. Derek remained firm. Then just assume I'm interpreting it as sulking. If you start messing around just because you awakened mana, you'll collapse very quickly. That comes from my own experience. Studying also requires proper rest. Since you've rested enough, let's begin. Dilra said with a look of disgust. Fine, fine. What a stuffy magic teacher. Hearing that, Derek immediately asked, then would you like me to teach you in a less stuffy way? That instantly reminded Dilra of what had happened before. She snorted coldly. Never mind. Today, we'll practice activating mana. Once you can activate it freely, you'll be able to learn one-star magic very quickly. The School of the Wild doesn't have a fixed system. It's the school most suited for self-study, and it values freedom more than the School of Order. So, honestly, my lady, you really are suited for the School of the Wild. Dilra did not understand what that meant. Derek explained, I mean exactly what I said. Your free-spirited personality matches the School of the Wild very well. And you also carry the Duprain bloodline. You have plenty of talent. Dilra hesitated. I have talent? Derek answered, of course. The moment you awakened mana, you also raised an ice wall. That means you definitely have talent. So that means I'm a genius? Dilra asked. Having talent and being a genius are not the same thing, Derek replied. Reg happened to hear those words from nearby. The next day, Dilra came looking for him again. Derek, look. I can activate mana now, but I still can't control its direction. A day later, she came again. Derek, look at this. Cold air is starting to appear, but it still feels strange. Another day passed, and Dilra said again, Derek, I can sense the mana, but something feels really weird. Yet another day passed, and Dilra finally found Derek. Derek, what are you doing here? Weren't you supposed to stay near the villa? Do you think father lent you those magic books so you could study for yourself? Derek answered calmly, yes, that is exactly why he lent them to me. Dilra snapped, what are you even trying to do? I already managed to circulate mana the way you told me last time. After that, Valerian came to find Derek. How has Dilra been lately? Derek answered, she has made good progress, but she still needs some time before she can truly learn one-star magic. I see. Mother will probably return from the social gathering next week. I'll warn you in advance. She is not an easy woman to fool. The people in this estate may be fairly easy to deal with right now, but nobles generally dislike seeing commoners in important positions. I'll keep that in mind. Is that why you called me here? I am the next head of the Duprain family. Being the family head means caring for and accepting every member of the family. That means I must treat each of them with sincerity. And that is exactly why the role is so difficult. The human heart is deep, complicated, and impossible to fully see through. If only everyone could share the same thoughts, values, and everything else. But reality is not that simple. Derek asked, so what are you trying to say? Valerian suddenly froze. What if Dilra stops playing with me, Derek? I still remember how she used to greet me with a bright smile when she was little. Could there ever be a second angel like her in this world? So, Derek, do you know any way to win Dilra's favor? Derek was speechless. Why are you asking me that? Isn't Dilra the one who only likes following you around? Valerian asked. Off to the side, Dilra was still shouting. Where did Derek run off to? Valerian then took out a doll. Look at this first. I learned how to make dolls from the maids. What do you think? Doesn't it look exactly like Dilra? Can you feel the love of an older brother from it? Derek went silent for a moment. It looks more like you're trying to curse someone. Valerian's eyes filled with tears. You're completely useless in this area, Derek. After that, the madam returned. I've heard quite a lot about you. They said we hired a very capable magic teacher. It's a pleasure to meet you. This woman was Milirla de Fel Duprain. If it is not rude of me, I would like to send some gifts to the territory you belong to. Derek told her directly that he did not belong to any family, and Milirla paused for a moment. Then Derek added, I'm a commoner. 1 week earlier, Aislinn had felt that bringing Mr. Derek to the Grand Duke's estate had truly been the right decision. As Dilra's older sister, she naturally wanted to stay by her side longer, but she still had many matters to handle in Elbest, so she could only entrust Dilra to Mr. Derek. Derek said he understood how busy they were. Captain Jaden also said, Derek, the young lady left this to you because she trusts you. Why are you answering so casually? Finish the job and come back soon. If Perina finds out about this, she'll make a huge scene again. So I'm counting on you, Mr. Derek. In the carriage as they left, Aislinn suddenly remembered something she had forgotten. Mother will return next week. I forgot to tell Mr. Derek. Should we warn him? Our mother is a little, how should I put it? She's like a dragon. And so, after returning to the estate, Madame Milirla immediately went to find the family head. She demanded to know why he had allowed a commoner to become Dilra's teacher. The family head answered calmly, My ears still work. Could you lower your voice? Dear, that is not the real issue here. The real issue is Dilra, our lovely youngest daughter. Milirla, you know we do not particularly like hiring commoners, but every teacher with noble blood has already given up. Milirla remained dissatisfied. Even so, how could you let a mercenary who crawled up from the streets become her teacher? Is it truly that difficult to find a usable magic teacher? And Derek was recommended by Aislinn. There should at least be some minimum standard. Milirla asked back, then why not invite your younger brother Prang? Last time, he refused by saying he was busy, but things are different now. Dilra has awakened mana. The family head said, You want someone managing the defense forces in the outer region to become a private tutor? Do you think running and managing a territory is that simple? Milirla said again, Then what about Elbest's social circle? The family head replied, Do you think life in social circles is simple? That place is also a battlefield, Milirla retorted. In noble society, a teacher is the most important calling card. Now you want Dilra to debut in society with a commoner teacher who has no fame and no family name? Are you trying to turn her into a joke? At that moment, Valerian quickly stepped in. Mother, please calm down a little. You didn't come here just to argue with father, did you? Nalirla immediately ordered Valerian to step back and said this matter could not simply be ignored. Just then, a voice spoke up. Whether that commoner mage is qualified to be Dilra's teacher or not, isn't that the real point? The speaker was Reg. He said, a mere commoner becoming a noble's magic teacher is not an ordinary situation. But if that commoner truly has the qualifications, then it isn't a major problem. Reg looked at his father and proposed, I am willing to test Derek's ability. If I defeat him in a magic duel, that proves he is not qualified. The family head rejected the proposal, so Reg changed his approach. If he really is powerful as a mage, then let's test Dilra instead. If Derek is truly an excellent teacher, then Dilra, as his student, should have achieved some decent results by now. So let's use Dilra's magic duel to determine whether he really has the qualifications. After leaving the family head's office, Valerian stopped Reg. He questioned him. What are you thinking? You actually want to have a magic duel with Dilra? Reg asked back. Brother, do you really believe Dilra has changed? Have you forgotten everything she's done? Valerian said, even so, she is your only younger sister. She is blood family, someone we should accept and protect. Reg said coldly, blood family? That blood family is going to destroy our house. Wasn't everything she did before already enough? If she actually enters noble society, that will be the real disaster. Valerian asked, do you really think that? Reg replied, Dilra was the one who crossed the line first. Dilra should have stayed locked in that villa forever. After that, Reg returned to his room. Meanwhile, Dilra shouted Derek's name and barged into the room again, asking what he wanted so early in the morning. Derek simply tossed a document to her. If you lose this magic duel, I'll be fired. Dilra said, I just heard that young Master Reg is already a proper one-star mage. This duel might be difficult. Derek asked, is that all you have to say? Dilra grew anxious and replied, but you're going to be fired. Derek said calmly, I'm a mercenary. As long as I complete the commission and receive the proper payment, that's enough. And I have already received enough payment. Dilra stared at him in shock and asked, are you serious? 1 week later, the day of the magic duel arrived. The family head and the madam both came to watch. Dilra greeted Derek. You're here. The family head noticed that Derek did not seem nervous at all, so he asked, are you that confident? The family head thought to himself that if Derek could maintain this much composure in a situation like this, then perhaps it really was too early to dismiss him. Reg, however, thought to himself that this was not just a simple magic duel. Today, he had to completely break Dilra. He would make her regret everything she had done in the past, from the bottom of her heart. At that moment, Dilra also arrived at the scene. Not long ago, she had questioned Derek, asking if he had truly meant what he said. Did everything other than his payment really not matter to him? Derek said to Dilra, my lady, you should have felt it yourself by now. Your mana growth is finally on the right track. You may not be able to use one-star magic immediately, but after some time, you should be able to. After all, you were born with the Duprain bloodline. Dilra did not understand why Derek was suddenly saying this. Derek continued, I told you before, the School of the Wild is originally a school suited for self-study. Dilra asked, then why are you saying this now? She knew she was not an excellent student. Even so, she still wanted to keep learning magic from Derek, not from someone else. Derek told her in advance, I don't know the etiquette or rules of magic duels between nobles. I've never experienced them either, but I can tell you how to win in a fight. He looked at Dilra and asked, do you want to win? Dilra remembered how so many people had once said that Lady Dilra seemed to have no mana, and even that famous teacher had given up on her. Some had said, how could someone like her appear in the Duprain family? It looks like Duprain is headed for decline. She's so young and only knows how to throw tantrums. Her older brother and sister are both so impressive, so how did the youngest end up like this? The Grand Duke must be suffering. At least there's Lady Azaline. Children really are burdens. Someone like her would have been better off never born. And so, Dilra said she would definitely win. She had not come here as Reg's younger sister, nor was she standing here as the youngest daughter of the Duprain family. She was here as Derek's student. And, at the same time, as a mage, the butler cleared his throat, then announced the rules. This duel will follow the advanced mage duel rules of the Elbest Kevlin Salon. The first side to activate General Perron's protection circle will be declared the loser. Now, begin. General Perron's protection circle was an accessory that activated automatically when the wearer was about to suffer serious harm, nullifying the opponent's magic. Derek could not help wondering how nobles even fought. They were using such an expensive accessory just for a practice duel. Talk about having too much money, and that thing lasted 10 minutes. Reg began chanting, gathering mana, for his spell. On the other side, Dilra seemed completely unprepared. Because Reg intended to end the duel early, Reg said quietly, "I'm sorry, but please go back to the villa, Dilra." The next second, a wind blade flew toward her. As the wind blade closed in, Dilra suddenly moved aside and dodged the attack. Seeing that, Reg grew irritated. She immediately controlled the wind blade and turned its direction. The same wind blade rushed toward the moving Dilra again. Reg had already mastered 1-star magic, but when it came to actual combat, he was still a beginner. Forcing a wind blade to change course consumed a huge amount of mana. The next moment, that wind blade crashed hard into a wall of ice. It was the ice defense Dilra had released. Reg said coldly, "That doesn't even count as ranked magic. It's just raw mana being released. You think a little trick like that can block real magic?" He immediately charged up 3 wind blades. "Then I'll just crush that little trick, head on. Let's see if you can block this." Before the duel, Derek had reminded Dilra, "Remember this, Lady Dilra. Mercenary combat and noble dueling are not the same. We don't treat fairness as a virtue. We only care about how to win. This is very different from an ordinary noble duel. Even if you win, you may still be criticized. But at the very least, you will win." Dilra had asked, "But is that really okay?" Even so, she still wanted to win. And that was how they reached this situation. 3 wind blades flew toward Dilra at the same time. She dodged the first one. Among mercenaries, there were always people who could overturn a fight despite a huge gap in strength. Most of those people were not sparring. They were fighting. Real fighting means using the terrain, the surroundings, and even the opponent's mindset on the battlefield. It means doing whatever it takes to win. Dilra kept dodging Reg's attacks. Reg kept burning mana to control the direction of his wind blades. After this continued for a while, Dilra finally stopped dodging. Instead, she released ice to block the wind blade. But ice at that level could hardly withstand 1-star magic. Reg muttered, "It's over." A wind blade came flying at Dilra from behind. Then came a thunderous boom. Derek simply watched everything calmly. The madam covered her mouth in shock and shouted, "Butler, what are you doing? Stop the duel right now. Dilra will get hurt." The family head ordered her to sit down, saying the duel isn't over yet. "You saw it too, didn't you?" The madam said anxiously, "Dilra was attacked by magic." The family head explained, "It didn't hit her. General Perron's protection circle didn't activate either." He looked at the boy ahead of them and saw that Derek had not even blinked. It seemed they had already planned for the duel to reach this point. Reg stepped out of the smoke and dust, confused. The wind blade should have hit her, but the protection circle hadn't activated. Where did she go? At that moment, Dilra was hiding beneath the arena. The wooden floor was suddenly pushed upward. The next second, a spike of ice burst out and pierced straight through Reg's clothes. Reg quickly dodged, narrowly avoiding the attack. This was an attack launched from beneath the arena. According to the Kevlin Salon rules, leaving the arena should have counted as a loss. Reg looked toward the butler, seeking an answer. But the butler simply gave a small nod. So beneath the arena did not count as outside the arena. In a noble magic duel, no one would ever think of using such a crude but effective tactic. Before Reg could react, more ice spikes burst up from the floor. Reg could only keep retreating and dodging. Since Dilra was hidden from sight, the spikes should have been hard to land, but she only needed 1 clean hit. At this point, there was not a trace of noble etiquette left in this duel. Through the cracks in the floor, Reg saw Dilra's eyes. That look felt strangely familiar. It was the same unusually calm gaze Derek had shown when his older brother grabbed him by the collar. There was no way Dilra had come up with this idea herself. This was a battle plan Derek had designed specifically for her. Reg made up his mind and threw off the cloak on his shoulders. "Then let's see just how good your battle plan really is, Derek." The duel between Dilra and Reg was getting more intense. Madame Millerla asked, "Is Dilra under the arena right now, inside that dusty hole?" Then she immediately snapped at everyone. "What are you waiting for? Stop the duel right now." The family head said, "It doesn't violate the rules. Let's keep watching." At that moment, Dilra was still hiding beneath the floor. From below, she could look upward and observe the flow of Reg's mana. The moment Reg began chanting a spell, Dilra would immediately cast her own magic and interrupt him. At this rate, the duel could not continue normally. However, Reg also came up with a solution. Dilra noticed that the flow of Reg's mana had suddenly stopped. There had to be some kind of trick behind it. But whatever it was, as long as he chanted one more time, she was certain she could hit him. The butler watched Reg's movements in shock. Reg had actually climbed up the flagpole. From that distance, Dilra probably could no longer sense his mana, but in that position he could not chant properly. That left him with only one option. He would skip the chant and destroy the arena itself. A spell struck the flagpole, snapping it clean in two. Reg stepped on the flagpole and dropped straight beneath the arena. A thunderous crash rang out. He saw Dilra running through the smoke and dust, so he immediately charged another spell. Dilra also prepared to cast magic to defend herself, but Reg could control the direction of his magic. Soon, a sword of mana appeared behind Dilra, but she still managed to dodge the strike. Reg believed that if he closed the distance, he would gain the advantage. All he needed was for one mana sword to hit her. But in the next second, Dilra kicked Reg right in the chest. The kick made him clutch his chest in pain. Then Dilra grabbed a handful of dirt and threw it straight into Reg's face. Using that chance, she escaped from beneath the floor. Reg had not expected her to kick him and then throw dirt. Was she using such crude tactics because she had run out of mana? Even after going this far, she still wanted to win, even though she knew victory should have been impossible. But this duel was meant to prove her worth. So as her older brother, Reg had to take it seriously too. After Reg climbed back onto the floor, he found Dilra standing there, waiting for him. Before the duel, Derek had told her, "Now imagine that you are painting. Mana is your paint, and the chant is your brush. Use the brush to gather the scattered paint, then draw a picture. That is magic." At the critical moment, Dilra remembered those words. Mana is paint. The chant is the brush. Feel it. The mana flowing from her fingertips is the paint. Using it to draw a picture. That is magic. Even the butler looked shocked by what he saw. The madam also realized that Dilra had learned one-star magic. Reg's heart sank. In the end, he had caused trouble after all. Dilra had actually learned one-star magic. Even so, the result would not change. Even if they were both one-star mages, he was still superior. As long as he hit her before her magic hit him, he would win. Then both sides used ice swords at the same time. Dilra formed one ice sword. Reg formed several. A thunderous boo rang out. One of their protection barriers activated, and the duel finally came to an end. 1 year ago, the family head had received a letter from the Femiard family. It seemed to be related to this social gathering. Back then, the butler had asked the family head how he thought the matter should be handled. Dilra's eyes back then had been completely different from now, and now she shone far brighter than she had back then. The one who lost the duel was Dilra, because her barrier had activated. Dilra's magic sword had missed, and Derek lowered his head as well. After losing the duel, Dilra broke down crying. The family head watched the scene. The madam was still questioning him. "Dear, what exactly is going on? Can something this shallow and crude even be called a magic duel? This is outrageous. Is this how that so-called teacher instructs a young lady of the Duprain family?" The family head, however, sank into memory. "I am Raymond Oswald Duprain. It is my honor to serve your grace on the battlefield. I often heard your father speak of you. Your eyes resemble his. They are eyes filled with ambition." The family head thought quietly. "Your eyes have changed so much, Dilra." The maids quickly gathered around and asked how Lady Dilra was doing. They said she needed treatment immediately, but Dilra refused them. Instead, she walked toward Reg. At that moment, Reg did not know what to say either. In the end, he only said, "You fought well." The maids offered to take Lady Dilra back to her room, but Dilra still did not answer. She walked up to Derek and said quietly, "I lost. I'm sorry." Derek said, "It's fine. Losing doesn't matter. Use this anger as a stepping stone to become stronger." Hearing that, Dilra finally burst into tears. The maids wanted to comfort her, but for a moment, none of them knew what to say. At that moment, the madam stepped forward. "Dilra, my precious child. This must have been so hard for you. It's all right now. Everything is fine. Let's go get you treated first." After the maids led Dilra away, the Duchess walked up to Derek. "You shallow little man. Do you even understand what you've done? Do you think you're impressive just because you taught her one-star magic?" As soon as those words fell, the madam slapped him across the face. "All you know is how to teach crooked tricks. You have stained a pure lily." Another slap came. "You taught the young lady of a Grand Duke's house those filthy, shallow little methods. A commoner like you could never understand the world of nobles. We have values and taste we must uphold." "Dear, you saw it too, didn't you? That was not a magic duel at all. He is teaching our Dilra something disgraceful. The family head walked over and slapped the madam across the face. Then he looked at Derek. You helped Dilra grow remarkably well. As the master of this estate, I should give you the reward you deserve. The highest treatment a commoner is allowed to receive. Do you want to learn 3-star magic? The family head had struck a chord deep within Derek, seeing through a desire even Derek himself had never fully understood. This was what it meant to be a 5-star mage and a Grand Duke of a nation. When an opportunity appeared, it had to be seized. Derek answered, yes, I want to learn 3-star magic. The family head said, you taught Dilra how to use 1-star magic. But that achievement alone is not enough for her to survive in Elbest's social world. There are many people in Duprain who can guide Dilra from here. She has already found the right feeling, and she will soon advance further. What Dilra needs now is not an instructor, but a master. As for the ambition to carry for a commoner, it is something not even allowed in dreams. The Grand Duke had not spoken with Derek many times, yet he still knew that Derek longed to surpass 3-star and reach 4-star or beyond. You should understand how much of an offense that is to the nobles standing above you. But because it is you, I can choose to overlook it. That was what made Derek feel even more afraid. However, if you carry such a desire, you cannot remain here for long. You have already prepared yourself to leave, haven't you? Derek did not deny it. The Grand Duke also understood his ambition. Even so, I still hope you will teach Dilra for a little while longer. The highest realm a commoner was permitted to touch. So, do you want to learn 3-star magic? Derek answered firmly once more. I do. After that, the family head opened a door for Derek. Beyond it were countless magic books, an astonishing number of them. Some people could not afford even a single 2-star magic book in their entire lives. Yet every book here was 3-star magic. This was more than enough reason for Derek to stay in this estate a little longer. If Purina found out, she would probably make a scene again. After that, Dilra said confidently, I am a 1-star mage now. Derek replied, only once, yes, but you did use 1-star magic, so you can indeed be called a 1-star mage. What? That's it? Your student achieved something, and you're not happy at all? Derek said calmly, it wasn't my achievement. Still, you seem to have recovered quite a bit over these past 3 days. You were crying so hard back then. Dilra protested stubbornly. Who was crying? Dust just got in my eyes, Dilra added with a huff. And father should have told me sooner. I thought you had already been kicked out. Derek said, then let's begin class again. Your growth speed is fast, so you should be able to learn other 1-star spells soon. Hearing that, Dilra immediately brightened up. What? What was that? Soon? I'm growing fast? Derek said, there aren't many people who can use 1-star magic so soon after discovering mana. Didn't I tell you before? Once you make up your mind, you can do it. Dilra instantly grew excited. Then where do we start? Mana Sword doesn't need chanting, so it looks convenient. Or maybe the Wind Blade Reg used. That looked strong too. No, wait. Ice Spear sounds good as well. If I get a little better at it, maybe I can hit Reg. Derek told her, we're going to practice Mana Dispersion. Dilra asked in confusion. Why? Aren't we supposed to learn 1-star magic now? Derek said, there are many reasons. The basics are the most important part. To explain it properly, mana is ultimately. Dilra deflated like a balloon. Fine, if you say so. I thought we were going to learn 1-star magic. I got excited for nothing. The more Derek looked at her, the stranger it felt. Dilra asked, what? Why are you staring at me like that? Is there something on my face? Derek answered, no. I just find it strange to see you being disobedient. Dilra frowned. What's that supposed to mean? What kind of person do you think I am? I've respected what you said from the very beginning. Derek calmly reminded her. At the beginning, you dumped dirty water on my head, twice. You still remember that? I doubt I'll ever forget it. Dilra quickly changed the subject. The weather is so nice today. Mana Dispersion is so interesting. I suddenly really want to go practice. Seeing her like that, Derek could not help but sigh. That night, Dilra practiced until very late. Derek found her still practicing magic. I heard you'll be getting much busier soon. Dilra said, you heard too? Starting next week I'll be taking etiquette lessons. Derek asked, isn't that a good thing? You learned 1-star magic, and now you're finally starting proper noble education. Dilra asked back, is that supposed to be good? Basic noble etiquette. Foreign languages, geography, history, botany, piano, sewing. I might have to learn all of it. How did Aiseline endure all that? I guess that's why she's called the Flower of Duprain, and became the center of Elbest's social world. But I only want to learn magic, Derek said. Then do that. Since the Grand Duke hired me, we still have plenty of time. Dilra asked quietly, But will we really have that much time? Derek asked back. Is anyone still going to come and fire me now? Of course. Father may have accepted you, but mother is not the kind of person who lets things go. Derek asked, why would the madam want to drive me away? Because learning from you takes me farther away from noble grace. She's probably afraid her daughter will become like a mercenary. Just from that duel, anyone can see your methods are far from the taste nobles pursue. After hearing that, Derek said, that's not a big problem. If we want to shut the madam up, it probably won't be difficult. We just have to drop the title. By the next day, the madam still could not make sense of it. How had they ended up with such a terrible teacher? Her poor precious daughter was going to be ruined by him sooner or later. She could even imagine Derek teaching Dilra like this. Watch closely, Dilra. This is how we mercenaries do things. Then Dilra would swagger into noble society and say, so this is the famous Elbes social world. I'm Dilra Katerina Duprain. Just imagining it made the madam's head ache. What could a commoner like that possibly teach Dilra? Even if her husband had accepted him, she was still the mistress of this estate. She had to come up with a plan. But the moment the madam stepped outside, she saw Dilra. She thought, even if everyone says you're spoiled, mother has always loved you. Surely you'll run over and hug me. But nothing happened. Instead, Dilra greeted her with a gentle expression. Mother, did you sleep well last night? The madam froze, completely unable to understand what was going on. Dilra continued, because I was recovering from my injuries, I couldn't leave the villa for some time. It's a shame I missed the chance to clear up the misunderstandings between us. I have many things I'd like to say to you, mother, but unfortunately, I have piano class this morning. Since my etiquette lessons are tightly scheduled, I'll be going first. The madam paused. But Dilra, haven't your preparatory lessons not started yet? They begin next week, don't they? Dilra answered calmly, yes. Thanks to mother's careful arrangements, I'm looking forward to them very much. For a moment, the madam seemed to see Aislane's shadow in Dilra. In the end, she could only say, go on then, don't be late for class. Seeing such a graceful young lady, the maid nearby was so shocked that she dropped what she was holding. Dilra quickly asked, are you hurt? Don't push yourself too hard. The maids were stunned as well. None of them understood what had happened to Lady Dilra. It felt as if the young lady had become a completely different person. The Eberstein Noble District. At the last gathering, Lady Aislinn looked worried the entire time. We were all quite concerned. Aislinn smiled. I simply didn't want to trouble any of you, but most of the things I was worried about have already been resolved, so I feel much more at ease now. That is wonderful to hear. When we heard you were looking for someone outside the Noble District, we were terribly worried. The speaker was the second daughter of the Femiard family, Elinte Effione Femiard. Thank you for your concern, Lady Elinte. The truth is, my younger sister Dilra needed a magic teacher. I was busy because I had to personally invite that teacher. Elinte was shocked. What kind of person could make Lady Aislinn personally invite them? Just how impressive must this teacher be for a young lady of the Duprain family to go that far? Wait, are you talking about Lady Dilra? Your younger sister? The one who spoke was Denise Lineal Vitus, the second daughter of the Vitus family. Aislinn nodded. Yes, not long ago, I saw Dilra at the estate. Before I realized it, she had grown into a graceful young lady. She even learned one-star magic, and her manners and speech have become very proper. It seems I need to work even harder myself. Denise found this very strange. Aislinn was actually talking about her younger sister, on her own. Hadn't the Duprain family always tried to keep Dilra hidden? It seemed they really had found an excellent magic teacher. Aislinn said, he may not have a distinguished background, but his ability is truly outstanding. It was worth going to the Belgian mercenary group myself to invite him. Both of them caught the key word, mercenary. Come to think of it, wasn't Lady Dilra the reason our head chef ran away from the Duprain estate? The head chef even said Lady Elinte was far too kind. That hopeless brat not only changed completely, but also became a one-star mage. Lady Aislinn, could you tell us that magic teacher's name? Since he is Lady Dilra's teacher, he may become even more famous in the future. So I'd like to know his name in advance. Aislinn answered, that teacher's name is Derek. Later, inside the Duprain ducal estate, Dilra said to her mother, these are some of the manners Derek taught me. Trying to learn etiquette on my own really is difficult. The madam was surprised. You can even study on your own? That's impressive. Dilra shook her head. Compared to self-study, Derek taught me much more. Thanks to Derek, I was able to learn this much. The Duchess's heart sank. Again, that Derek. How many times had that name come up already? What exactly was going on? She did not know what that man had done to her Dilra, but she absolutely could not let this continue. she had to come up with a way to stop it. The servants also felt that Lady Dilra had become much kinder toward them lately. She had grown surprisingly gentle. On top of that, Lady Dilra seemed genuinely happy these days. The butler also thought that her change over just a few weeks was truly shocking. He had only ever seen this kind of grace in Lady Icelane before. Perhaps Lady Dilra had finally matured and become a true young lady. Now he could sense real noble dignity from her. Hearing all of this only made the madam angrier, the more she thought about it. Meanwhile, Derek was still practicing magic, though the results did not seem very good. At that moment, a voice came from behind him. "Sorry, am I interrupting your training?" Derek answered, "Not really. Did you need something from me?" Reg said, "I wanted to talk to you about Dilra, but before that, isn't that a 3-star magic book?" Derek answered, "The Grand Duke lent it to me. It's still difficult for me right now, but there's no harm in studying it early." Even Reg could not help praising him. "That's impressive." Derek asked, "So what did you want to ask about Lady Dilra?" Reg looked a little troubled. "This is actually kind of complicated. What do girls around that age like these days? If I made an embroidered doll that looks like her, would she like it?" Derek told him directly, "Absolutely not. Though if you didn't make it yourself, that might be better." Reg also felt it probably was not a good idea. Derek said, "If your question is finished." Reg said seriously, "Anyway, thank you. The atmosphere at home has been much better lately, and my brother Valerian has been focused on managing the territory. Father doesn't show it, but I think he's relieved too." Derek said, "Is that so? His Grace's thoughts really are hard to read." On that point, everyone in the estate would probably agree. Some things were probably about time to accept. People do change, especially children at that age. Reg wondered why he had not realized it sooner. Or maybe he had simply been avoiding it all along. But since Dilra had changed, he decided he should try to change too. "All of this is thanks to you, Derek. Speaking of which, the way Dilra uses magic seems a little different from others. Can you see the difference? It almost feels like she's painting." Derek thought to himself, as expected of a genius. He's a Duprain to the bone. That kind of difference shouldn't have been easy to notice. "Yes. Lady Dilra uses mana in the style of the School of the Wild." Reg nodded thoughtfully. "I've heard of the School of the Wild. Everyone uses mana differently, and once she reaches a certain level, there probably won't be much left to teach her. She should be able to study on her own. Once she reaches that stage, too much interference from a teacher may only hold her back." "I see. A talent like that will shine one day." 2 months later, Dilra asked in confusion, "What is this? Why are there flowers?" The maid smiled and answered, "They were blooming beautifully, so I placed them in your hair as an accessory. They do smell nice. These past few months have felt like spring the whole time." Dilra had already mastered 1-star magic, and she had also grown much closer to the servants. The madam finally realized that she had missed far too much during that time. And all of it was because of Derek. The maid smiled and said, "I was wondering why you seemed so happy today. So it's because you have magic class?" Dilra froze and asked, "Do I look happy? Then we should decorate you with more flowers and make you even prettier." Dilra picked up one of the remaining flowers. "Give me one of those. I want to give it to Derek." But after that, she discovered the one reality she could not avoid. "What do you mean? Derek, you're leaving?" Derek said, "It is exactly as you heard. I no longer had anything left to teach you, my lady." That is how the seasons turn. There is no eternal winter, and no eternal spring. Not long ago, inside the Duke's room, Derek said, "Your Grace, you must have noticed as well. Lady Dilra belongs to the School of the Wild. And even within that school, she is the type with a very distinctive personal flair. If we interfere too much, we may end up breaking her wings." The Grand Duke said, "I understand. You mean there's no longer a reason for you to stay here, correct? Thanks to you, many things have changed. Thanks to you, my daughter was able to grow. Because I was busy with the territory, I failed to do what a father should have done." Derek answered, "I heard Lady Aceline will return to the estate soon, then go back to Eberstein. I plan to leave with her carriage when that time comes." "I see. Then return the library key now," the Grand Duke said. Derek replied, "After I return the magic book I am currently reading, the head steward will deliver the key back to you." But the Grand Duke said, "There is no need. Return the key now. If there is nothing else, you may go." Dilra questioned him. "You arrived so suddenly. Why are you leaving so suddenly too?" Derek said, "Lady Dilra, this is something that cannot be helped." Dilra said quietly, "I know you won't listen, but I still have to say it. Can't you stay?" Derek answered, "I will continue working as a mercenary, just like before. I will probably keep studying magic too. When you become strong enough and come to Eberstein to debut in noble society, We will meet again. Hearing that, Dilra looked deeply saddened. Derek continued, as long as I become stronger, I will be able to teach you new things when that time comes. Dilra turned her face away. You're so annoying. You're always right, so I can't even argue with you. That night, Dilra had a nightmare. What a useless child. You're a failure. What does someone like you have besides your bloodline? You are a disgrace to the Duprain family. A child like you should never have existed. Dilra jolted awake from the dream. The maid quickly asked, My lady, what happened? I heard a loud noise just now. Is something wrong? A reckless thought suddenly crossed Dilra's mind. If she created another excuse now, if she bullied someone like she used to, and acted like a tyrant again, would Derek stay here? The maid was still asking worriedly, My lady, are you all right? Are you feeling unwell? But she could not do that anymore. Dilra said quietly, I'm fine, don't worry. She understood now that doing such things would not make her more valuable. Meanwhile, outside, the driver asked, Should we take you to the commercial district? Yes, Derek replied. I would be grateful if you could drop me off there. Say your goodbyes before you go, someone suggested. We'll be leaving soon. Everyone gathered at the entrance. Valerian asked, Are you really leaving? Derek answered, I'm going back to where I came from. Life at the estate must not have been easy. Thank you for everything during this time. If anything happens, contact me. I'll help however I can. Only Dilra remained silent. Derek looked at her one last time. What's wrong? Dilra turned her face away. What? Why are you staring at me? Did you think I'd throw a tantrum and stop you from leaving? Don't get the wrong idea. I'm not a child anymore. Derek said, It was my honor to teach you, Lady Dilra. Though I cannot publicly claim to be your teacher, I hope you will remember the magic we studied together. Dilra snorted. Well, sorry to disappoint you, but I'm absolutely going to say out loud that you are my teacher. You better prepare yourself. After all, you are the teacher of the great Dilra Katarina Duprain. Take care of yourself. Don't accept commissions that are too dangerous and get hurt. Derek answered, I'll be fine. And you shouldn't push yourself too hard either, my lady. Dilra said quietly, I'm already an adult. Derek remembered that his former teacher had once said something similar. So he said, Lady Dilra, please remember this. You don't need to become an adult too soon. Tears instantly welled up in Dilra's eyes, but she still wiped them away. Then she smiled and called out, Goodbye, Derek. Of course, as she kept smiling, tears began to fall again before she realized it. Goodbye, Eberstein. Sometime later, in Eberstein's commercial district. Yeah. Take him down. Keep hitting him. Harina was beating someone up. Derek, you're back, she shouted. Cheers at the Beldron base. It's not as fancy as noble tea, but this is your favorite honey wine. Harina stared at Derek and asked, Were you always this pale? Why do you look even paler after drinking noble water? I thought you went off to be a magic teacher and started taking some fancy noble medicine with them. So what happened? Tell us everything. Derek answered, Of course I came back, because the job was done. What else is there to say? Harina frowned. Why do you even talk like a noble now? Would it kill you to explain a little? Jaden also told Harina to take it easy. Enough, just drink this. But Harina was still annoyed. While Derek was gone, she'd been running commissions alone, and it had been exhausting. Still, because of that, you managed to earn this much money. So, did they pay you properly? Derek said, I received something more valuable than money. Then, he handed over the magic book. Harina froze. Is this a 2-star magic book? Something this valuable? Derek told them, It's a 3-star magic book. The two of them were instantly shocked. Wait, did you steal this? If you get caught, you're dead, Jaden said. Yeah, how could you steal something like this? Harina added. It's 3-star, Derek said calmly. The Grand Duke gave it to me. Harina did not believe him at all. Stop lying. Is that place still hiring archery teachers? Tell me. Derek turned to Jaden and asked, Are there any commissions lately? Jaden stared at him. You've only been back for 1 day, and you already want another commission? Do you have any easy subjugation jobs? My combat sense has gotten a bit rusty. Jaden said, We're always short on mages here. If you want work, there will never be a shortage. Derek nodded. Then arrange something starting tomorrow. After that, Derek and Harina went back to work. At first, Harina was still being chased around by monsters, but it did not take long for the two of them to finish the fight. Even when they ran into a giant spider, Derek and Harina handled it without any problem. On the way back to the city, Derek was still reading the magic book. Even when Harina was sleeping, he kept working hard. Derek practiced magic alone nearby. He repeated the practice many times, but never succeeded. Every attempt ended in failure. When he learned most 2-star spells before, he had found the feeling fairly quickly. But the barrier for 3-star magic really was absurdly high. In the blink of an eye, autumn passed and winter arrived. Purina complained, "How much colder is this weather going to get?" "Ah, youth. Running up the Cantor Mountains in weather like this? I told you we could wait until it got warmer. You're probably the only one who could retrieve a monster's head in this kind of weather." Derek and Purina pressed hot towels against their faces. Jaden said, "Since you worked that hard, take a proper rest tomorrow." Perfect timing, because a commission suited for Derek just came in. It's expensive and easy, though it might be a little annoying. It's a commission the Rohel mercenary group from West Street gave up. You've heard about it, right? The Femiard Count family is apparently looking for a commoner mage who can help their main family practice magic duels. To put it simply, they need a straw dummy they can beat up. You just need to take a few hits. And so, Derek arrived at the magic duel arena in the Noble District. An old man and a girl also arrived there. The girl asked, "So who am I dueling today?" The old man answered, "We found a commoner for you to practice attack magic on." "You mean I'm supposed to hit a commoner?" the girl asked. "This is also a form of training," the old man replied. "We have already promised the commoner sufficient compensation. You may practice as you wish." Using a commoner for practice was apparently fine, because that was the noble world. Still, the opponent was only someone who could use 1-star magic. The girl said, "I'm almost at 2-star. Isn't the gap between 1-star and 2-star enormous?" At that moment, Derek was still waiting on the arena. The girl looked at him and asked, "So you're the one?" "My opponent for today's magic duel," she added, eyeing him up and down. Derek calmly replied, "Hello, my name is Derek." Elinte felt a strange sense of familiarity, as if she had heard that name somewhere before. "Step onto the arena right now," she commanded, though she secretly wondered if this boy was really a mage. After finishing her warm-up, Elinte prepared to begin the duel. "Do you know the basic etiquette of magic duels?" she asked. Derek answered, "I understand the basics." "Good. Then resist with everything you have. I'll end this quickly." Elinte thought to herself that she could probably end things right away by simply knocking him out of the arena. But Derek asked her, "When you say everything I have, how far exactly do you mean?" Elinte paused, not understanding what kind of nonsense he was talking about. Derek continued, "I'm asking how hard I should resist for this to actually help Lady Elinte. I need to know that." Even the client standing nearby did not know how to explain it to him. Elinte laughed. "You really have a sense of humor. Like I said, use everything you have." Hearing that, Derek prepared himself to go all out and defeat her. He confirmed once more, "I need to know what level of resistance would be helpful to Lady Elinte." Elinte smiled. "You're an interesting one. I already told you. Resist with everything you have." Derek nodded. "Then I'll use everything I have." Elinte thought it was impressive that this commoner had learned 1-star magic at such a young age. However, she felt he was becoming far too arrogant. She decided she had to make him understand the wall between nobles and commoners. She opened with a spell that shot straight toward Derek. Derek simply stepped aside and dodged it with ease. The spell flew past him and struck down a tree in the background. Seeing that, even Elinte couldn't hide her shock. Derek looked at her and asked, "What's the next attack?" Elinte realized this guy had a reason to be confident, but she refused to believe their gap had disappeared. Several ice swords were instantly summoned around her. She thought this duel would surely end right here, but Derek only countered with a simple, singular ice spike. Elinte was shocked once again, because her entire cluster of ice swords was shattered by his one spike. The ice spike then finished its path and struck the ground. It was a basic spell, yet he had controlled it with terrifying precision. The old man could see it too. This commoner was no amateur, and his claim of being an expert was no bluff. Elinte took a deep breath. "Fine, I admit you're pretty good. I underestimated you earlier. Now I'll get serious." Elinte launched another round of magic. Derek immediately saw through her new plan. She had changed her strategy. Instead of trying to hit him directly, she was now trying to destroy the entire arena itself. For a noble, that level of adaptability was actually impressive. In the next second, Elinte summoned countless firebolts. The firebolts came rushing in so densely that there was no way to dodge them all. Derek instantly cast a defensive spell. The firebolts slammed into the barrier one after another. A thunderous explosion rang out. As the smoke cleared, Derek stepped out of it once again. The very next second, Elinte rushed in with an ice spear in hand. It was a point-blank ice spear attack. At that distance, there was no time to dodge and no time to raise a proper barrier. Her talent really was frightening, but Derek simply snapped his fingers. In an instant, a blinding flash lit up the entire arena. Hit by the sudden burst of light, Elinte could not open her eyes. By the time she opened them again, the guy was gone. Where had he gone? She could not see anything in front of her. If she could not rely on sight, then she had to rely on sound. As long as she focused and reacted to the noise, she could figure out where he was. Right then, an ice spike came flying at her. She only felt something pass by, but she had heard absolutely nothing. Derek had simply fired an ice spike at her. Elinte could only barely avoid the incoming magic. Did he use a confusion spell that erased sound? Had he even calculated the fact that she would start relying on her hearing? Then was the reason his first strike missed because he had held back on purpose? More ice spikes continued flying toward Elinte. Elinte's heart jolted. How was that even possible? But at that moment, Derek suddenly closed the distance. Elinte immediately thought this commoner was an idiot. Rapid casting was her greatest specialty. The moment he raised his hand to fire mana, she would strike first and finish him with her own magic. But Derek's movements were completely different from what she expected. Elinte was so startled that she immediately pulled back. Because he was casting magic with his foot, a lightning spell shot straight at her. Elinte hurriedly blocked the attack. Even the old man could not help admiring him. This boy was incredible. He really did look like a mage from the School of the Wild. Even he could not predict what Derek would do next. From the perspective of the School of Order, it was almost impossible to keep up with him. Even Elinte could not help but say, "This guy is really interesting. To be honest, I really did underestimate you at first. I thought you were just talking big. Thanks to you, I ended up learning something interesting." So Elinte also tried casting magic with her foot, but Derek simply raised his hand. With one sideways step, he forcibly twisted the trajectory of that spell. The next second, the spell flew back toward Elinte. Just as Elinte prepared to defend herself, Derek cast another spell and rushed toward her. This duel was finally about to reach its conclusion. But just as Derek launched his final attack on Elinte, the bald old man suddenly rang the bell. Derek stopped moving as well, because the duel was over. Elinte clearly understood the result, and her face showed how unwilling she was to accept it. Derek said, "You are a fine mage, Lady Elinte. Your instant casting ability is something I have rarely seen." Elinte looked at him and said, "The way you know how to flatter people tells me you understand this world pretty well. But I heard you're only a commoner. With your level of skill, you must have worked extremely hard." Derek answered, "That was only because I had to survive as a mercenary." Elinte added, "You don't need to keep being modest. I don't dislike people who put in real effort. Though that old magic teacher behind me definitely won't like you, so don't wander too far away. Thanks to you, I learned quite a bit. At the next Rojea Salon team duel, maybe I'll be able to get a good result." Derek said, "With Lady Elinte's skill, I don't think you need to worry too much." Elinte replied, "Maybe. But I don't care about that crowd of nobodies. The one I truly want to beat is Azeline. I've said too much. You may leave." After that, Derek prepared to go, but Elinte suddenly felt that something was off. Derek from the Beldring mercenary group. She felt like she had heard that name somewhere before. Iseline had mentioned it. The teacher's name was Derek. Realizing this, Elinte suddenly grabbed Derek's hand. "Derek, so it was you. You're the mercenary who taught Dilra." After that, Derek stayed. Elinte summarized her goals simply. As long as she could beat Acelyn, she was willing to do whatever it took. Derek asked, "You want to beat Lady Aceline?" "That's right," Elinte confirmed. "Acelyn hasn't reached 2-star yet either. If I can reach 2-star before her, that would be best. And if I can't, then at the very least, I have to win this team duel." Derek replied, "That's quite the competitive spirit." Elinte corrected him. "It's a desire to conquer. You're good at making things sound nicer. I suppose calling it competitive spirit works for now. In the past, I used plenty of ugly tricks to try to beat Azeline. They were filthy and pathetic, yes. But in the end, I really was jealous of her. And none of those methods brought me anything good. No matter what I did behind her back, Azeline always ended up understanding and forgiving me." Derek asked, "I don't understand why you're telling me all this." Elinte replied, "Obviously because I'm exposing my shame in exchange for your understanding and sincerity. And I have a few questions I want to ask you. Since you stayed with the Duprain family before, you should know very well, right? How strong is Aceline? And how does she compare to me? That's why I'm asking you. If I want to beat Aceline, what should I do?" After a brief silence, Derek told Elinte, "Lady Aceline's ability is indeed remarkable. But Lady Elinte's ability is also outstanding. As long as you seriously refine your strength." Derek stopped there. A person's eyes could sometimes reveal what was truly inside them. And the girl in front of him had not asked this question because she wanted praise. She was desperate. Even from a lowly mercenary, she wanted a real answer. After thinking for a moment, Derek decided to tell her the brutal truth. You absolutely cannot win. Hearing that, Ilinte did not lose heart. Even so, I still want to win. Even if it's impossible, I still want to win. You turned that spoiled brat Dilra into a mage, didn't you? Then you must have a way for me to beat Aislinn too, right? Derek said. It's not completely impossible. But before that, there's something I need to ask. Ilinte said. Now we can finally talk properly. What is it? Derek asked. First, do you know what kind of method I used to teach Lady Dilra? I don't know the details. But don't worry. As long as I can win, I'll do anything. Derek continued. Then second, you know I'm a mercenary, so I may need... Ilinte immediately cut him off, asking, what is that supposed to mean? Are you worried people will laugh because a noble lady is learning magic from a mercenary? Derek, I'm serious. I am going to become someone famous across the entire empire. If I can't even become #1 in Eberstein's social world, then of course I can't achieve that. So stop testing my sincerity with such boring excuses. Some things matter more than pride. Derek was silent for a moment. No, I mean, I'm a mercenary, so you should pay me. Ilinte froze on the spot. Her face turned red at once. Money, so that's what you meant. Of course. I can pay however much you want. Why is this room suddenly so hot? Since she was serious, Derek had no choice but to seriously use a ruthless method. He had only spoken a little seriously with this noble lady, yet she somehow thought he was testing her sincerity. At the Rogea Salon gathering, voices murmured, there will be a magic team duel at the next gathering, right? I heard Lady Ilinte has become even more outstanding lately. Looks like we should prepare seriously too. The next gathering is coming soon. We definitely have to attend. Then they noticed Ilinte was there as well. Lady Ilinte, you're here. We were just talking about you, one of them said. Ilinte smiled and replied, I heard Lady Aislinn's voice from far away. Aislinn and Ilinte began speaking alone. Ilinte asked, Lady Aislinn, do you need to prepare in advance? After all, you've had no losses lately, and are known as the Flower of Duprain. Aislinn smiled and replied, thank you for the compliment. But if my opponent is Lady Ilinte, I cannot afford to let my guard down. Ilinte said, I recently hired a new magic teacher, so I do have a little confidence now. He's a commoner, but his record was good enough for me to recruit him. Aislinn noted, for Lady Ilinte to recruit him personally, you must trust this new magic teacher quite a lot. Ilinte said, to be precise, I'm not the one who trusts him. Lady Aislinn is. Aislinn did not immediately understand what that meant. Ilinte continued, that teacher's name is Derek. Hearing that, Aislinn froze on the spot. Ilinte thought to herself, look at those rabbit-like eyes. She must be angry, right? Feeling wronged, right? The thing she couldn't have was taken by me. But Aislinn quickly suppressed her expression and smiled, saying, congratulations, Lady Ilinte. You should know very well that he is a broad-minded and trustworthy person. So, congratulations. Hearing that, Ilinte instead felt something was wrong. This was not how it was supposed to go. Aislinn remembered something from before. Dilra, should I ask Mr. Derek to look at my magic too? My progress has been a little slow lately. If it's Mr. Derek, I can trust him with it. Dilra immediately rejected the idea. Absolutely not. Unless there's truly no other choice, absolutely not. Sister, you are someone precious. Thinking about it carefully, Aislinn should have understood what it meant to take Derek away. So go ahead and be angry, Aislinn. I took your teacher away from you. Just then, Aislinn stopped Ilinte, as if she wanted to say something. Mr. Derek is a little, but Ilinte cut her off. Oh, look at the time. It was lovely speaking with you. But today is my first lesson, so I should head back early. Nothing bad should happen, right? Aislinn thought to herself. Mr. Derek isn't that bad of a person, is he? Denise watched the two of them from the side. She could not help thinking that they were both truly hardworking, tears at the Beldron base. Derek told Jaden, for now, I'll need to focus on that commission. Jaden sighed. The Feniard Count family, huh? Your schedule is getting more impressive by the day. I don't need to stay at the Count's estate, so it's still convenient. I just need to handle it properly in Eberstein. You make it sound easy. How are you supposed to beat Lady Aislinn in a team duel? Derek said, it's not completely impossible, as long as Lady Ilinte reaches 2-star. Even against Lady Aislinn, if she has the advantage in star rank, she can win. Jaden waved him off. All right, I've heard enough fantasy. Do you have a realistic plan? Derek said, to make that realistic plan happen, I'll need your help, Jaden. And for safety, we'll need to bring Purina too. Jaden narrowed his eyes. That doesn't sound like a realistic plan. That sounds like you came up with something dangerous. Derek answered calmly. Reality is dangerous by nature. Perina shouted, exactly, it's dangerous. This is a scam. We were set up. Those scammers robbed us blind. Sometime later, at the Femiard Count family estate, Derek said, first, we'll start with sparring lessons. We'll repeat them 10 times, then take a detailed look at your magic. Elente stared at him. We're starting with 10 rounds of sparring out of nowhere? Derek answered, I need to see your real combat ability first. Elente muttered, mercenaries really are blunt and rough. Fine. I didn't call you here to learn those headache-inducing lessons anyway. Then, let's stop wasting time and begin. After 10 rounds of sparring, Elente was exhausted and breathing heavily. Derek said, good work. Rest for 10 minutes, then we'll review your basic magic. Elente's eyes widened. What did you say? 10 minutes? I don't have any mana left to use. Derek said calmly. It's fine. Dig a little deeper. You can always squeeze out more. Elente tried to use 1-star magic. Derek immediately pointed it out. That is not an ice spear. Focus and create 10 more ice spears. If you can't even do that, how will this work? You're still 5 steps short. Next, make 100 magic arrows. Elente broke down. I can't. I'm out of mana. Derek reminded her. The time you spent making excuses was enough to cast one. But that should be enough for now. You may go eat dinner. Are you alright? If you're too tired, you can always give up. Hearing that, Elente immediately sat up. Give up over something this small? Impossible. Before we started, you made it sound so terrifying. I thought it would be something amazing. Turns out this was just a warm-up. You have no idea what I've done just to survive in Eberstein's social world. What we just did was nothing. Derek nodded. I see. I was too short-sighted. Elente said, I'm only tired today because I attended a social gathering. Tomorrow, I'll train properly. So tomorrow, we should probably raise the intensity, right? This level didn't really feel like anything. Derek said, it is still today. Why are you already talking about tomorrow? What are you saying? I believe I mentioned this earlier. It is dinner time now. Elente froze. You really know how to joke. Derek answered calmly, I have never accepted a commission to joke around. My lady, you can still do more. Fire 5 more magic arrows. My lady, there is still residual mana in your body. Fire 10 more. Elente could not understand why the number kept increasing. When she could no longer run, Derek made her practice mana dispersion, and she could only grit her teeth and insist she could still run, that she could keep going. Before long, Elente was completely exhausted. Derek asked her, how does it feel? Elente panted and answered, interesting. Derek reminded her, if you cannot keep going, giving up is also an option. Elente forced a smile. Give up what? This level is easy, right? Since you have rested enough, let's begin sparring, Derek announced. Didn't I just sit down? Elente complained. This training continued for 2 weeks. At the next salon gathering, Elente tried to sneak in a nap and asked Denise to wake her up. Lately, she had been so busy with magic training that she was completely exhausted. Denise asked curiously, why are you pushing yourself this hard? Elente answered, obviously, to win. I really want to win. Please do your best, Denise encouraged. I will be cheering for you too, Lady Elente. Denise noticed that Aislinn had arrived. She quickly reminded Elente, Aislinn is here. Clearly, Aislinn had also noticed them. Elente immediately started fixing her hair. Someone beside her said, a new clothing store opened recently. Would you like to go take a look? Elente grew a little flustered. She didn't see how messy I looked just now, right? Denise answered, indifferently. Probably not. Aislinn still looked back toward them. Aislinn murmured with concern, Lady Elente looks very tired. Is she really all right? After that, Elente returned home. The maid reported, my lady, the Duprain family sent gifts. They seem to be from Lady Aislinn. They are all items that help with mana recovery, and they are all high-quality goods. They should be very helpful to you, my lady. Elente immediately ordered, throw them away. Throw all of them away. I don't want to see them here. Has Derek arrived? She asked. He arrived before dawn, and is preparing right now. There was a letter on the table. It read, to the dear young ladies of the Rojea Salon. Winter has arrived before we even realized it. Snow will soon begin to fall. I hope all of you are doing well through the cold season. Our territory happened to receive many fine goods, and I wanted to share them with my dear ladies. Please accept these gifts. May your day be peaceful. From Aislinn. Derek was waiting for Elente to arrive. You're here early, my lady, Derek noted. Elente said immediately, we don't have time. Skip the formalities. Derek, what do you think? You should know by now, right? We've trained for weeks already. Tell me honestly, How bad is it? After thinking for a moment, Derek told her, giving up is also a decent strategy. Hearing that, Elinte felt deeply uncomfortable. Are you always this hurtful? Elinte asked. If I made you feel that way, I apologize, Derek replied. What do you mean, give up? Is that what I asked? I asked how I can beat Aiseline. Isn't that why I hired you? I didn't hire you so you could tell me to give up. If that's what you're here to say, then get out. My time is precious. Derek asked, what happens if you can't win? Obsessing too much over victory may only hinder your growth. Sometimes, accepting defeat with humility is also an option. But to Elinte, that felt far too humiliating. Didn't I already tell you? I'm the kind of person who talks badly about Aiseline behind her back. The pillar of Femiard, the flower of the Rogea Salon. I don't care about any of that. I'm just ugly and jealous of her. That's the kind of person I am. Even if I'm immature, even if I'm ugly, I can admit all of it. I hate Aiseline for no good reason, and I know exactly why I feel that way, but this twisted, pathetic feeling never goes away. Why? It was self-loathing. Even if she had to expose her own shame, she wanted to speak her true feelings. And she had questions she wanted to ask Derek. Elinte always carried a subtle kind of self-hatred as she kept asking what she had to do to beat Aiseline. At first, Derek thought it was just jealousy or competitiveness. But the person this girl truly hated was not Aiseline. It was herself. This fight had not begun from some light, simple jealousy. It was her only path to escape her own self-loathing and inferiority. Derek finally said, then win. I will help you defeat Lady Aiseline. Those words allowed Elinte to pick up her confidence again. Meanwhile, at the Femiard Count family estate, Pamir, you finally returned from Eberstein. It must have been a long journey. Sit down and rest. This man was the border count of Femiard. Botristan Anult Femiard. It has been far too long since I last saw my precious Elinte. How has she been doing in Eberstein? Pamir answered. Lately she has been focusing even more on magic duels. I have never seen a young lady as talented as Lady Elinte. That child will surely surpass me. Pamir hopes so as well. But right now he definitely could not say that Lady Elinte was learning magic from a commoner. That would not benefit either him or Lady Elinte. Botristan said, I happen to have business in Eberstein soon. He then mentioned that he might personally visit Elinte and give her a surprise. Pamir immediately broke into a cold sweat. She will definitely be very happy, he replied. It should be fine, right? He thought to himself. At the outskirts of Eberstein, inside an unnamed labyrinth, Purina was still a little nervous. Are we really bringing a rookie noble lady into a labyrinth? Well, Derek must have his reasons. Even Elinte could not help asking, are we really going into a labyrinth? Derek answered, this is the lowest level labyrinth nearby. It won't be too difficult. And what are we supposed to do once we go in? Is it really fine to just walk in like this? You need to get used to the feeling of real combat. Just in case, my companions and I will go with you. Elinte asked, are you serious? There are only a few days left until the duel. Derek said, when there isn't enough time, this is the best method. Stay alert. It may be a low-level labyrinth, but you still need to be careful. Purina warned. Derek, several goblins are approaching from the front. Jaden also noticed movement behind them. There's a big one in the back too. Looks like an ogre. Derek asked, one ogre should be fine, right? That depends on how much you're paying, Jaden answered. We'll settle it after everything is over. Countless goblins rushed at them from the darkness. The sight completely terrified Elinte. Derek charged forward to meet them, while Purina provided cover from behind. Derek rushed straight into the goblin group. Purina also moved immediately. With one arrow, she took down a goblin. Derek killed one with a single swing of his sword. At the same time, he casually cast fire magic. Seeing that, Elinte was so nervous she could not speak. But the pressure from behind was even stronger, because what appeared there was an ogre that looked powerful at a glance. Jaden cut off its arm with one strike. But the battle still was not over. This was Elinte's first time experiencing something like this, and her mind went blank. What was this? Did I really have to kill them? I might actually die here, she panicked. While she was distracted, Derek warned her, a goblin is heading your way. Please focus. As a noble young lady, Elinte had never seen a real battlefield like this. Derek reminded her again, you have to kill it. Until now, she had admitted how immature and ugly she was. But why would this pathetic inferiority complex never disappear? Because aside from arrogance, she had nothing. The version of herself that only knew how to envy and slander others. At the critical moment, Elinte finally cast magic. She killed the goblin with an ice spear. For everyone else, the battle was basically over. and they all looked as calm as if it were just another day. Only Elinti was still breathing hard. She had come here to become better, and now she had finally taken one step forward. At the very least, it should count as one step. Sometime later, Derek received a letter. To Dear Derek, it has been 2 years since I left Eberstein. I'm sorry for contacting you so late. I am currently teaching magic to the young lady of the Ivist Count family, and she is very eager to learn. Because of that, there is much more to teach, and I have been dizzyingly busy. Suddenly, I remembered those days in Eberstein, when I lived there with you and taught you magic. Life was difficult back then, but compared to now, it was freer and happier. Among all the mages I have met in this life, Derek, you are the most talented one. What level have you reached now? If we ever meet again, I must see your magic. Your former teacher, Katia Flameheart. With that, Derek finished reading the letter. Elinte asked, You've been here for 2 weeks already, and every time you have a spare moment, you're looking at that. May I ask what it is? Derek answered, It's a letter. My teacher sent it to me. Elinte said, Wow, she must be a very good teacher then. After all, she taught someone like you. Derek looked at the letter and said quietly, I think so too. She really was a good teacher. Hearing that, Elinte froze on the spot. Did you not understand? I was mocking you just now, Elinte said. Derek asked, What do you mean? Elinte was left completely speechless. Derek asked, The duel is in 2 days. How do you feel? Elinte thought for a moment. How I feel? I'm not really sure. I just feel like I'm going to win. Meanwhile, at the magic duel arena in the Noble District, Aislinn was still speaking with several noble young ladies. Soon, she noticed someone, and it was a familiar face. Mr. Derek, I'm so happy to see you again, Aislinn said. Derek replied, It has been a while, my lady. Aislinn asked, I heard you have been guiding Lady Elinte's magic. It was only a brief connection, Derek answered. Mr. Derek is still the same as ever, Aislinn continued. Aren't you being too strict with Lady Elinte? Dilra once said Mr. Derek was no ordinary teacher. Lady Elinte has looked very tired lately. Derek said, You're actually worried about your opponent. You must be very confident. Aislinn calmly replied, No matter who the opponent is, please do not let your guard down. Hearing those words, even Aislinn herself seemed slightly surprised. After that, the people around them began discussing who would win this duel. Of course, Lady Aislinn will win, unless Lady Elinte can use 2-star magic. Lady Elinte is so pitiful. Her chances of winning are practically halved. At that moment, Aislinn stepped onto the duel arena. That is Lady Aislinn. She looks beautiful today as well, someone murmured in the crowd. Then Elinte also stepped onto the arena. She kept repeating to herself that she would win. Derek also watched the duel closely. Aislinn spoke first. Have you been well, Lady Elinte? Elinte replied, Have you been well too, Lady Aislinn? You are always so calm and composed, Elinte added. You are a model for everyone. But Aislinn said, No, I don't think I've ever experienced a duel that made me this nervous before. The duel finally began. Elinte cast the first spell. At the same time, Aislinn also began preparing her magic. But the spell Elinte launched was far more powerful. Even Aislinn froze at the sight. Because countless firebolts had been released by Elinte all at once. The overwhelming firepower instantly covered more than half of the duel arena. Derek had once told her, If this comes down to pure magic technique, you absolutely cannot win. Elinte had asked him, Then what do I do? How can I win? By relying on mental endurance, Derek had replied. I already taught you how to squeeze your mana to the absolute limit. So that wasn't just your personal hobby? Elinte had retorted. I don't have that kind of hobby, Derek explained. If both sides run out of mana, mental endurance will affect the result more than technique. So use flashy, large-scale magic as much as possible, and drag the duel into a battle of attrition. When the attrition battle ends, whoever can squeeze out more mana will win. What if Aislinn has more mana? Elinte asked. Then you will lose, of course, Derek answered. Mana quantity is more influenced by innate factors, but Lady Elinte, the blood of the Femiard family also runs through you. So please believe in yourself as well. And that was how the duel had turned into this full-force barrage. Even Aislinn had not expected Lady Elinte to become this strong. At Elinte's command, countless firebolts flew toward Aislinn, but an attack at that level was still something Aislinn could block. She immediately cast defensive magic, and a protective barrier covered her body. Both of them believed they would win. The crowd was shocked. So this is Lady Elinte's magic? Her mana has grown so much, another voice noted. The firepower was fierce, but in the end, she was simply pouring mana outward. At this rate, her mana would run dry very quickly. Aislinn located Elente and prepared to counterattack. She fired an ice arrow. At that distance, Elente had no way to dodge. But the ice arrow passed straight through her body. Aislinn immediately realized that it had been an illusion spell. Moving an illusion like that consumed an enormous amount of mana. At that moment, the real Elente had already moved behind her. Aislinn noticed it too. Elente had closed the distance while carrying an ice arrow. Before the duel, Elente had brought up this idea. Back then, Derek told her, first, use fire swords to control the field of vision, then use illusion magic as a smokescreen, and finally close in with a point-blank ice arrow. If your opponent were ordinary, you might catch them off guard, Derek continued. But your opponent is not ordinary. If you use an ice sword at that distance, she will definitely block it. Elente thought Aislinn no longer had time to cast protective magic, but Aislinn simply cast an ice sword spell forward. Then she used the momentum from that ice sword to force herself backward and create distance. Elente could not believe there was even a method like that. Aislinn also felt that the last exchange had been far too dangerous. She remembered Derek's warning, no matter who the opponent is, never let your guard down. Now she finally understood what Mr. Derek had meant. Elente's skill and the way she used magic were truly different from before. In that case, firepower suppression was the only option. And when it came to firepower, Aislinn was confident too. So she also summoned a dense storm of ice swords. The crowd was shocked again. Lady Aislinn summoned that many ice swords, and she did it without chanting. Derek could tell that Aislinn had finally taken the bait. One thing was certain, Lady Elente had grown tremendously. Now let's see if she can block this, he thought. Aislinn controlled countless ice arrows and fired them at Elente. But Elente had also secretly cast a spell. Aislinn had not noticed that Elente had been quietly setting up magic the whole time. The next second, a firebolt suddenly shot out. By the time Aislinn reacted, it was already too late. That firebolt shattered her ice sword. Aislinn was startled. When did that happen, she wondered. And just now, she had not sensed any chant or mana flow at all. Had Elente deliberately hidden one spell from the start, just for this moment? With just one spell, Elente broke through Aislinn's entire attack. Aislinn could not read it at all. She could not understand it. Just what kind of moves did Lady Elente still have? The crowd was stunned. What is going on? Someone exclaimed. The two of them are fighting on equal footing. Elente thought to herself that this time she could definitely do it. But Aislinn could already feel it. If things continued like this, she would lose. Her opponent was stronger than her in both combat strategy and courage. In that case, Aislinn had to rearrange all the conditions. Finally, it was about to begin. Aislinn cast magic again. A violent gust of wind swept across the arena. Elente did not understand what had just happened. It was clearly magic, yet she could not sense the mana. The mana around them had vanished. It only lasted for an instant, but all nearby mana had disappeared. This was mana decree, a phenomenon where overwhelming mana instantly reorganized the surrounding mana. When a mage pushed their mana beyond their own limit, the mana nearby would be rearranged. In simple terms, Lady Aislinn had broken through her own limit in that moment. A fireball appeared above her, growing larger and larger. This was 2-star magic. Fireball. Not long ago, Elente had still felt uncertain. Could she really beat Aislinn? After only a few weeks of training, Derek had told her, "You can win. More accurately, you will win." The crowd gasped. "Is that fireball?" Someone shouted. "A 2-star fireball, and she used it without warning," another voice added. The sight left Elente with her mouth open. Derek had never told her this could happen. What is this? What am I supposed to do now? She thought in a panic. She looked toward Derek, who was watching from the side. "Wipe that blank look off your face and teach me something useful, you unreliable jerk," she cursed internally. The fireball was closing in. The scorching heat forced Elente to shout. "How am I supposed to block 2-star magic? How can an ice sword beat that?" So, beating Aislinn really was impossible after all, she thought in despair. Denise simply watched everything in silence. The crowd stared with their mouths open as the duel seemed about to be decided. But Elente cast an ice sword forward and used its momentum to force herself out of the attack's path. Her body rolled several times across the arena. Aislinn, who had used 2-star magic, was also breathing heavily now. Elente had really dodged it, and she had done it using a movement method she had only seen once on paper. The very same method Aislinn herself had used earlier. Derek could already tell. An immature 2-star spell was nothing more than a monster that devoured mana. Lady Aisline had acknowledged Lady Elinte's effort and talent, so she was going all out. This was the courtesy and respect given to an opponent who had challenged her. Elinte finally understood. If she could just hold on now, she could win. But Aislinn began charging magic again. She was about to fire another fireball, and this time, it was much faster than before. Aislinn threw the fireball. Now its path could no longer be predicted. Elinte's heart tightened. What am I supposed to do? She panicked. Just as the fireball was about to hit her, Elinte suddenly planted both hands on the ground. Her entire body launched upward, and while she was in the air, she was still charging magic. Aislinn noticed it too, but if she used a magic shield now, she would only waste more mana. Elinte cast an ice sword in midair. She thought this move should be enough to end the duel. But Aislinn placed her hand on the ground, and an ice wall rose up instantly, blocking the attack. This was not defensive magic. It was a raw burst of mana. To control those two fireballs, Aislinn had already used up most of her mana. Now, Elinte had pushed Aislinn into a corner. There was no way she had much mana left. Aislinn was breathing heavily again. Meanwhile, Elinte could still use Fire Sword and Ice Sword 2 more times each. That was enough. Now she could finally defeat Aislinn. Just then, another fire spell appeared behind the ice wall. That fire spell rushed straight toward Elinte. Unfortunately, it did not hit her. Aislinn tried to cast magic again but failed. And Elinte still had strength left. She finally understood why Aislinn was like this. As the duel approached its end, there would never be another noble young lady in all of Eberstein as graceful as Aislinn. But wherever there is light, there will always be shadow. And Elinte had always stood inside that shadow. She was a pampered noble daughter too, wasn't she? Didn't people talk about her behind her back as well? Shouldn't she turn around and snap at them? Or throw a tantrum just once? Elinte had always thought Aislinn was like a gemstone. The more she was cut, the brighter she shone. And Elinte herself would always be hidden beneath that light. She had fallen into the abyss of inferiority and sharpened her blade there. No matter when, Elinte always wanted to prove that she could become someone better than Aislinn. She had to break free from that endless abyss of emptiness. Noble and beautiful Aislinn. Now her hair was messy and she was covered in dust. She had rolled across the ground in front of everyone. What kind of expression would she show? Elinte wondered, but Aislinn did not seem to have any image she needed to protect. She had simply been giving everything she had for what she needed to do. The crowd cheered for Aislinn, shouting, "You can do it. Please stand up." Just as Elinte prepared to decide the match, she looked toward Derek, who was watching from the side, and asked in her heart, "Can I really beat Aislinn?" Derek's answer seemed to echo in her ears. Of course you can. In the end, it had still come to this. Elinte knew that even if she won this battle, she would still remain inside that endless abyss. Aislinn's mana was completely exhausted. Just then, a voice suddenly rang out. As expected, I ran out of mana. I still couldn't surpass Lady Aislinn after all. This is my loss. Aislinn still did not understand what had just happened. Elinte said, "That was a wonderful duel." The crowd instantly erupted in cheers, shouting Lady Aislinn was amazing. Elinte, however, looked strangely relieved. Aislinn still could not figure out what was going on. A group of people gathered around her, praising, "Lady Aislinn, congratulations. When did you learn 2-star magic? That duel was absolutely thrilling." Elinte also stepped down from the arena. She looked at Derek and asked, "So, was it exciting? Surprised, right? I can admit defeat too." You really should have seen Aislinn's face. Her eyes went completely wide. Her whole expression was saying, "You're surrendering now?" Aislinn, who always looked so composed, actually made a face like that. You have no idea how satisfying it was. I never thought I'd get to see something like that. Thank you. Because of you, I got to feel superior in front of Aislinn. Even if only for a moment. I'm really happy today. So how did I do? The ending was a little disappointing, but it wasn't bad, right? Looks like I still need to work harder. As she kept talking, tears started falling from Elinte's eyes. She sat down alone nearby and began to cry quietly. Derek asked, "What's wrong? You're not a child anymore. You were flawless today. You did well." After a moment of silence, Elinte said quietly, "Honestly, I really wanted to win back there. But right when I was about to end the duel, I saw something. Even if I won there, I would just go back to being the same as before. I would return to that place I hated. I guess that's just the kind of person I am." Even after all that, Aislinn was still noble. Derek said, "At least when it comes to feeling inferior, you have already surpassed Lady Aislinn." Everyone is different, after all. So, what if you are a little ugly inside? If you don't even have the courage to be ugly, you can never move forward. At least today, Ilinte was no longer trapped. Denise noticed Derek standing nearby. He had been standing there the whole time, watching both sides of the arena. Only after the others around Aiseline left, did Denise walk over. Lady Aiseline, your skill has improved even further, Denise noted. Every moment of that duel was so incredible, it gave me chills. But Aiseline said, Lady Denise, you saw it too, didn't you? The true winner of that duel was not me. After thinking for a moment, Denise pointed out, in terms of mana quantity, Lady Aiseline still had the advantage. Aiseline shook her head. That isn't it. Even if we cancel out the difference in mana, Lady Ilinte was ahead of me in every other area. The reason she improved that much in such a short time must be him. Aiseline ordered her maid, send a letter to the main estate. I need Mr. Derek too. Not long before that, a piece of news reached Graham Duke Duprain. Dressed wolf tier. That old 6-star monster. What exactly did he come to Elbest for? We still don't know the reason, but the schedule for this tariff agreement was suddenly moved up. That was probably because someone noticed Lord Drest's movements. I was wondering why Femiard insisted on coming to Elbest. Now it seems this really does have something to do with Drest. If he is the man standing at the peak of the exploration system, someone who can even foresee the future, then there must be a reason behind his actions. There is one more thing. Aiseline sent a letter. In it, she said she wanted to hire a magic teacher. If we can help her, then of course we should. But in the letter, she specifically requested Derek. The problem is, Derek is currently teaching Lady Ilinte of the Femiard family, so I plan to send the butler to speak with Derek in detail. Valerian, this matter is probably not that simple. Since Drest's destination is also Elbest, I will personally go there and handle Derek's matter. Meanwhile, the scene shifted to Ilinte's estate. Derek? I want to rest for a while. Hearing Ilinte say that, Derek slowly raised his head. Studies, training, and everything else. I want to put them aside for now and sort out my thoughts. Are you still working with the Beldrin mercenary group? She asked. Yes, Derek answered. At that moment, Derek suddenly felt Ilinte lightly touching him with the tip of her foot. Seeing Ilinte's body leaning closer and closer, Derek instinctively straightened his posture. If I call you again next time, will you come to teach me magic? Hearing Ilinte say that, Derek's tense nerves finally relaxed, and he replied, Of course I'll come. Though I don't know what else I can teach you, Lady Ilinte. Ilinte looked at him and said, Being that modest doesn't really suit you. Speaking of which, winter is almost over. It really was a long winter, wasn't it? Time passed quickly, and by the time Derek returned, it was already night. When he opened the door, Parina was once again using this commission's payment to gamble with someone. Derek's back, someone shouted. Hearing that, the captain immediately perked up as well. Derek said, I'm back. Great work on this commission, everyone. Time continued to pass, and Count Femiard had already arrived in Elbest. Unless something unexpected happened, he was the first of the 3 great families to arrive in Elbest. At that moment, Ilinte had no idea that her father had already arrived. When she heard the knock on the door, she even covered her ears with a pillow. The maid reminded her, My lady, I think you should open the door and take a look. Ilinte complained, I clearly said I was going to rest for a few days. Why is someone here this early? Did you forget? She shouted. I said I was starting my break today. A familiar voice came from outside. It has been so long, my treasure, my precious daughter Ilinte. But in the very next second, Ilinte slams the door shut. She simply could not believe her father was standing outside. Father, why are you here? She asked in a panic. I'll change my clothes and come out right away. Please wait a moment, my precious. Count Femiard did not even finish speaking before Ilinte shut the door again. So that's what happened, the Count said. Lady Aiseline of the Duprain family really is a powerful opponent, but you learned a great deal as well. If that mercenary teaches this well, then perhaps it would be best to keep him in Femiard as your personal teacher. Hearing her father say that, Ilinte froze. But the retainers will object, won't they? Ilinte asked. You don't need to worry about that, he assured her. For you, what is there that your father cannot do? Do what you want with confidence, leave the rest to your father. Meanwhile, while Ilinte was resting, Derek returned to the labyrinth. Derek had realized that his own magic had been stuck in place throughout the time he was teaching. Derek, behind you, Parina yelled. Thanks to Parina's warning, Derek finally snapped back to attention. But just as he was about to use magic, something unexpected happened. The magic that had remained stagnant for so long suddenly showed signs of loosening. Without the slightest hesitation, Derek followed that feeling and began casting. The 3-star spell Flame Wall, which he had practiced countless times, finally manifested completely in that moment. The problem was, the distance was far too close. When Derek came to, he saw the scene before him. Jaden could hardly believe it. What did you say? Derek almost died in that low-level labyrinth? Don't even get me started, Purina complained. Are all mages like this? We were only fighting goblins, and he still used 3-star magic. Derek said, in the middle of it, I felt a strange sense of dissonance. Just like when I first reached 2-star. At that moment, a voice suddenly echoed in his mind. There is no need to feel anxious just because you cannot break through that wall. There is no need to force your way through. Never forget, the School of the Wild pursues the natural flow of things. The man spoke as he slowly walked into the tavern. Then again, a mage like you probably wouldn't listen to that kind of advice anyway. Derek could not sense any mana from him at all. That left only one possibility. The strongest 6-star mage of the exploration system. If you have any good liquor, bring it out. The road was long, and I'm a little tired. The old man was none other than Dressed, one of the 4 6-star mages. Meanwhile, the scene shifted to the Duprain family estate. Ever since Derek left, Dilra had been working hard on her magic, because only by doing that could she go to Elbest as soon as possible and see her teacher again. By now, the young lady could freely cast 1-star magic. But if she wanted to go to Elbest, simply being able to use 1-star magic was nowhere near enough. Dilra gathered the mana throughout her entire body and summoned 3 ice swords again. But she had only recently become a 1-star mage, and she still could not control that many spells at once. Just like usual, the ice swords shattered before they could fully form. After the spell failed, Dilra dropped to her knees. I thought you had matured, but your temper is still the same, a voice teased. Since when were you watching? Dilra demanded. Still, you managed to make 5 of them, didn't you? He said. As expected, that good teacher of yours really did help. Dilra stubbornly said, I'm the one who's amazing. What credit does that selfish Derek deserve? I heard Aesoline wants to hire that selfish fellow as her magic teacher, he noted. That won't do, Dilra retorted. What if Sister gets tortured by him the way I did? Stop saying things that will make people misunderstand Derek. When I went to a ball not long ago, I also heard someone say Lady Elinte wants to keep hiring Derek. Dilra could not help feeling annoyed. Why is that guy so popular? She wondered. If he managed to turn a little brat like you into a proper noble lady, it's no wonder he's popular, he teased. Who are you calling a brat? She shot back. It would be nice if Derek continued teaching Aisling. Why would you say that? Dilra asked. Because then you might find a way to see Derek again, he replied. You know, that Derek you want to see so badly. Who wants to see that annoying guy? Dilra huffed. Still, I'll believe you for now, but rumors about Derek must already be spreading everywhere by now. Dilra could only hope no other competitors would show up.